Hello guys, today we'll be looking at a random variable. What did I say? A random variable. Let's consider an experiment. Consider an experiment with a sample space. A sample space, capital S. Let's consider an experiment with a sample space, capital S. In our previous class, I told you people that a sample space is the collection of all the possible outcome of an experiment. And I also made mention of a random experiment. An experiment is said to be random if its outcome cannot be predicted with certainty prior to the performance of that experiment. Now, let's consider an experiment with a sample space S, and let X, capital X, be a function defined on the sample space S that assigns a real number to each sample point is known as a random variable. That is to say, a random variable is a function that assigns a real number, is a function defined on a sample space that assigns a real number to each sample point in an experiment. And it is called a random variable because its value depends on what? The outcome of the random experiment. Now, in statistics, random variable is divided into two. We have discrete and continuous random variable. But before we go into that, let's look at what they call range. Now, let X, or let an experiment be what? A toss of a coin twice, or if a coin is tossed twice, so we have these outcomes. This is the first toss, we have head and tail. In the second toss, we have head and tail, head and tail, which will give us HH, HT, TH, and TT. Now, we have, this is our a sample space. So if a coin is tossed twice, we have four sample space, which is the collection of all the possible outcomes of this particular experiment. Now, let's define our X, our random variable X, to be number of heads. Let's define our X. Let's define our X. Define X to be number of heads. So we have X of HH, we have how many heads we have here? We have 2 heads. X of H, we have 2. X of HT and TH, we have what? 1. How? Because we are interested in what? In the number of heads. And the number of heads that we can find here is what? 1. X of TT will give us what? 0. Because there is no H. There's no H in this. So this will give us, if we collect all these possible outcomes, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, that will give us what we call range. A range is the collection of all the values that a random variable can assume in an experiment. So we have our range to be what? R of x to be 0, 1, 2. So in an experiment where a coin is tossed twice, the possible number of values that, if you are interested in head, the number of possible values that we are going to have is what? 0, 1, 2, which is our what? Range, which is what? The collection of what? All the possible values that a random variable can what? Assume. Like I said earlier, in statistics we have two types of random variable. Number one, we have discrete random variable and continuous random variable. A random variable, let's start with what? Discrete. Discrete random variable. A random variable is said to be discrete if its range consists of what? A finite number of what? Sample points. What did I say? A random variable is said to be discrete if its range consists of finite number of sample points. While a random variable is said to be what? Continuous if its range consists of what? An interval on a real line. While a random variable is said to be continuous if its range consists of an interval or union of interval on a real line. For a continuous random variable, we can find it in what? In an experiment that involves what? Measurement, like what? Weight, height, blood pressure, etc. These are what? An experiment where we can find a continuous random variable. And for discrete, we can find it in what? When a die is tossed, when a coin is tossed, and so many others. Okay? Look, I'll stop what?